Okay, let's talk about iBooks for a few minutes. If we look at the top left-hand corner, you see a little book open with a wooden background that says iBooks. We'll click on that, and that immediately takes us to the store. Now, one of the nice things about iBooks is that you can virtually store thousands on your iPad. And again, this will be very useful when I talk about some of the books, including iBooks. So here it's arranged in categories at the top, from all categories to fiction, nonfiction. If we go to more, you can see all the different types here. So if we were to focus on any one of these, all right, such as science and nature, you can see another sort of storefront come up here. And we could go through here and look. Now, if there's something that we actually enjoyed or found interesting, we'll go back to all categories. And say we found, here's a new book. We'll just click on that, Oprah's Book Club, our new book apparently. One of the things we do, we find a book, we click on the book that we are interested in, and we can either buy it or we can click on sample here. And just by hitting sample, it will download X amount of pages. I don't know, 70 pages of the book or so. And you can see it downloading right there into this little bookshelf. And you can see the sample only takes a few seconds or so. I'm going to open that up just to show you what a typical book would look like. And again, you'll start to see the sample, and they usually just start right from the beginning, including the contents. So if we click through here, slide through, you can start to see how a typical book might look. You could also hold on to any word. So if we were to look at shepherd, I could highlight shepherd. I could highlight shepherd. All right, typically you should be able to click on any. I've never had that happen before. Yeah, oh, it started to work. Maybe I was just not hitting it right. You can highlight the word in any color you want. You can underscore it, you can mark it. We can also go back to the word, and we can actually find out the definition of that. So this could be useful when we're reading a book here, and we could also search the web or Wikipedia. Now, we could go back to our library, and one of the things we'll notice when we go back to our library here, oh, I gotta hit library, and all you have to do is tap, and then it should come up here. You can see you can sort it into collections, from purchase books to you can even save PDFs on here if you want. All right, and you can see all the different types of books and different shelves in which you can store these books. So one of the things I would like to do is show you the capabilities of some of these books. Let me show you one that, and not that I'm marking one specific book or another, but I want to show you that some of these books within the iBooks goes well beyond the typical book. So here is what a book with good illustrations might look like, and more books are starting to look like this with a program through Apple called iBooks as well. So you can see, right, there's a book that looks nice, but now we could go back. I'm going to lightly tap at the top and click on library. Show you one with just a little more interaction. Oh, you know what? I don't have that one with me. Some of these books have more interaction, so why don't I go to children's, because I don't have the biology textbook I wanted to show you. All right. More and more textbooks are starting to look like this. These multi-touch, if you will. And for example, children's books as well as more adult books will even read to you here. But one of the things I can do is click at the bottom here, and I could zoom this in, zoom it out. I could X out of it. And this is more of a health book, but you can see here I can expand it, where now they're showing the neurons of a brain. So again, the capabilities of these books are quite endless, and you can see here, this one right here, I believe if I could explore this and literally turn it, some of these, there we go. So this might be very useful for some of the nursing students, this particular book. But again, I just want to show you some of the capabilities that these books have. And if I lightly touch again here, should be at the bottom here. Okay. If I just slide over, you can see, right, and there's some graphs and figures. So, you know, many books are becoming like this if they're not that way already. Now, they're not all like that. They're certainly not all like that. One of the other ones that's interactive, and this is a new one, you could start to see, you know, moving pictures in the book itself. And you can hit this button right here. This is your little speaker button, and it could start to read to you. Now, because the program I'm using, it's not, I don't think it's going to come up and allow that. But if you were looking at the actual iPad, you would actually see, oh, now it's freezing up my computer there. But you would actually hear it, someone talking and whatnot. So a lot of those books do that. And one of the things I can tell you, I've been watching this closely, more and more, if we go back to the store, we should go back to the beginning here, more and more books are being oriented toward textbooks. And I'll talk about textbooks in a second. I found a very useful app that you will enjoy. Yeah, you would, somewhere in here, let's see here, it usually has textbooks. I can't find it at the moment, but there are some textbooks here. Let's see. Okay, it's going to make a liar out of me now. Alright, you could certainly go under search as well. Oh, here's our textbooks. There it is at the bottom there. Now, this is a newer feature with iBooks, but if we click on that, and it seems to be taking its own sweet time, but all the textbooks that they do have is available. Now, what I'd like to do, if it expands, that'd be nice for you to at least see, but I'd like to start to look at some of the books that are made into apps. Okay, so here are some of our, here's some of them, and some are very interactive where the author's actually talking in a video. Alright, so here's some of them. But what I want to do is step out and branch away from iBooks for a second and just show you a few other ones. One that many faculty and staff will find particularly interesting is this one called Course Smart. You could access Course Smart online, and let's see if I could turn this a little bit. You could access this online at coursesmart.com, and you could sign up there. Here I'm storing all my books here. So, for example, one of my sociology books, it might be a little pinched to see here, but I could sort of give you a little bit of a visual. Let me dig right into the book. So here's what a typical page of a book will look like. And of course, this is a lot easier to read on the iPad than it is through the screen recording, but you get the idea. All right. And of course, you could also edit and highlight here. One of the nice things is if you go to coursesmart.com, so if I were to, and again, this will be a little cut off, if I were to actually show you, I'm going to type in coursesmart.com. Once you sign up, you can have access to books for free. Now, again, you are sort of renting them through CourseSmart. You don't actually own them. I'm using my NTC account. And what you'll see is you'll see a search bar, you'll see a library. Okay, doesn't normally look like that, but here's a search bar, and you can actually search for books as well. So that's one of the nice things about CourseSmart. Again, if I could sort of go back to here. All right, this is one of the other apps that is very useful. In fact, sometimes I don't carry my books to class, but I'll carry this in the event that I need to open my book up and someone has a question or there's something I want to focus on, so I don't have to worry about carrying lots and lots of books. So iBooks and definitely CourseSmart, or this which is titled eTextbooks, is a very helpful and useful tool. Some other textbooks have become apps. So some of the things, and some of them are magazines as well. There's also Kindle, all right, which if you already have a Kindle, and I'm sure Nook has something similar, if I were to lightly click Go Home, and it's showing all the books. One thing to keep in mind is while you can buy Kindle books, you cannot buy them through the iPad. You'd have to go through Amazon.com. All right. So there's an app for all your Kindle books if you have a Kindle. Now let me just show you again what some of these apps look like. So here's an app for, looks like biology and evolution here. And you can start to see, right, some of the interaction you can have. So we could go through time here, look at the earth, and there's music. And again, everyone's different, but the idea that I'm showing you here are the capabilities. So you can see some of the movement here. You can scroll forward. All right. So these are just some of the app books, so to speak. So what you have is iBooks, you have CourseSmart, and then you have Kindle, and you have some app books as well. Here, sometimes magazines like National Geographic, which I should actually show you that here in a second as well. Let me actually jump over to what's called a newsstand right here. Let me turn this sideways. See that a little bit better. Click on newsstand. And you can see that there are a variety of books you can get. So I'm just going to focus on National Geographic because they tend to have some more interactive, good material here. You can go and through here buy some of these. All right. And I believe the first one is usually you could see if you go to the very beginning. I know National Geographic has one which you could actually get for free. All right. So there's newsstand, and again, you could go to the store in the upper right hand corner and find other books. You'd be surprised how many different books are out there or magazines are out there. So back into books. Again, here are some of the applications, and there's plenty out there. All we have to do is go to the App Store, and I will have a video on the App Store unless you've already been to that as well, in which we could just type in books, or we could actually go to featured. All right, or charts at the bottom here. Go to all categories, and there should be a little link for textbooks or books in general. Let's see here if I click on that again. Internet's a little slow at the moment, so it's starting to come up here, but there should be a link for certain types of books and whatnot. So here's another way to find books if you don't want to just search it in the bar right there. Oh, there you go. You can see newsstand on the left. You can see books. All right. So if I were to just click on books, for example, you'll see where you get to find some of those. And I'll briefly go over this in the video on the App Store as well. But here again, you can see those in which are free in the middle, those in which are paid, and those that are top grossing as well. So you can see, okay, here's one, Rudolph. It's Christmas time. Here's the Nook. So I was telling you about the Nook and some of the other ones. You could get that as well. So there's a little bit about books. All right. I will stop it here. If you have any questions, like usual, feel free to contact me. Or also feel free to check out things like YouTube. You'd be surprised what you'd find on there. All right.